Welcome back everybody, part 2 in this trio build using the Eminence Beta 15A and the Tangband W8 1808. So in the first video I showed you how I attached the baffle boards to a couple of legs. So I've painted them black and that's what we end up with. You'll notice that I've rebaited this so that when the drive unit is, there's no sharp edges for the drive unit to work off or to interfere with the resultant sound. You can see here I've got a foot arrangement which will be affixed like that, and to keep it upright I'll just have a spur off something like that to keep it upright. You can use angle brackets down the bottom there at the joint or whatever you like really to keep it upright, and I have seen people just have a hinged arrangement off here, and this and the other end just rests on the floor without this foot, but that's entirely up to the builder. So what I'm going to do now is put the drive units in this chassis if you like, and we'll come back when I've done that. I'd just like to cover a comment that I had from, I believe his name is Bill Pearson. Thank you, Bill, for highlighting. He said that in a previous series of videos with we built the budget little open baffle. There's no way that would work. It's not going to work. And he's, I think, referring to, I did just a sound demo up here in this workshop, whereby it was the actual speakers were far too close to the back wall, and he's absolutely right. Just need to clarify that open baffle speakers, or most open baffle speakers, you have to have set up in free air. What I mean by that, at least a metre clear to the rear and at least a metre or 3 feet left and right of the actual baffle speaker, baffle board if you like, to let them breathe, make them work properly. Excuse me. And he then went on to suggest that I watch his videos to see how it's done. Well, Bill, you're a very good carpenter, but I don't think you impart any knowledge. They look very nice, your speakers, but there's no technical information, even rudimentary information in your videos. They are just still pictures with a bit of text poked across the front of them. But they look very nice. Obviously you're a competent carpenter. So yeah, thank you for your input, and hopefully this will clarify. Open baffle speakers need to be used in free air, open space. I'm just using some felt to protect. There we go. Just check the camera. Can you see that? No. Give you some idea. I can't do it on the microphones with the camera, so the sound might be a little bit out, a bit iffy. But I'll just stick a couple in just to fix it in place. So what we're going to do is offer up the Tangband. Just be a bit careful, you don't want to do any damage. There's a little bit of wiggle room here I've got. I might just, I think I'll drill some pilot holes first just to make sure I get it in the right place. So I'll drill some pilot holes before I fix it, and then we'll put on this. One thing I forgot is, how do you line the gaps? The gaps here, to make it look nice. What you don't want is 10mm this side and 5mm this side, and it'll all look disjointed. So well, I've got the whole thing was designed to have a 5mm gap between this baffle board and this one. This is just a bit of 5mm ply. All the screws on the back are loose, so you can actually jiggle these about. Thus, so when you've got one in like that, nip them up by hand, hold them together and do the nuts up on the back, and we then know that our gap is going to be 5mm. I'm just doing these up now. Thus, sorry I'm in the way, but I'm just doing up the nuts. Doing up the nuts. So we know everything's square and in line, and it will look nice. I know it's a bit of DIY, but it will look nice at the end of the day. Do these up like that, and you repeat the procedure for the top one. Also at this stage, before I fit this full range drive with a tang band, what I'm going to do is use my acrylic as a template to line up the tang band. There was, as you saw earlier, a little bit of a wiggle room, if you like, for the tang band to move about in. But that's where we want it, roughly. I mean, I could go and measure all these exactly. I'm not going to. I'm just going to mark it, drill some pilot holes and whack some screws in. I'll be back in a minute. So I've been round, just made a divot in the baffle board. So we know that's exactly where we want these screws to go. I can now dispose of that. Might edit this later. Just going to use a bigger drill bit just to open these out, so I'm not actually putting the timber under any stress when I do fix the drive unit on. Maybe I should have done it before I put this drive unit on. Look at the mess. Go and get a hoover and I'll hoover this up in a minute. I'm I haven't got the room to do this in my workshop, unfortunately, but maybe I should have done this first. But there you go, that's the way it is. It's all very warts and all, as I've always said. I also just want to take the burrs off the edge of those holes. So I'm just using, I don't know whether you can see that. Just when you drill it, trouble with MDF, it just leaves a bit of overcut sticking out. That's better, it's lovely. So I'm just going to go get me hoover and have a hoover up. The downside of acrylic frontage, these decorative bits, acrylic is very static and collects dust. By the by, what I'm going to do is put some tape, double-sided sticky tape, which I just happen to have to hand. I hope you got the gist of this as I push forward here. A bit about that long, 2 bits about that long, a bit like that. A bit like that. A bit like that, something like that. And no doubt there'll be many, you shouldn't have done it like that. But this is why I've done it. You can actually use some foam double sticky backed if you like, if you wanted to do that. But we're going to put our little guide in again. We're going to get our template. Line it up and just stick it on. As I say, you can use some foam double-sided, not very thick, but that will suffice for now, for me. I am, got to be honest, rushing this somewhat because of the time. Sorry about the noise downstairs, it's the char lady. I'm just going to offset this a little bit as it was. There. There we go, let's get some screws. A bag of screws. As you could use Allen headed screws. If you want, I have these in stock, so that's what I'm using. And the back is about to go flat. I wonder if we can get one more in there. Must have one somewhere. Here we go. That's it. On there. No, there's a dodo. To do that one by hand. In actual fact, once you put them in, it's always best just to go around and nip them up by hand. You get a better feeling on how tight they actually are. It's just a nip. We're not going to be holding up the fourth bridge. So I just want to show you this again. I apologise for my voice. How to install these screws. You can do it by hand. Wind it in. Obviously I've got my pilot hole which I've drilled previously with the driver out of the baffle. You can wind them in by hand. Nice and square. But what I tend to do, I set the clutch on the drill to about a number 3. Low speed. Variable, just gently. And then when it gets to there, I'll just nip them up by hand. Go all the way around, you get a better feel for the torque you're actually putting onto the surround of the drive unit. So it's just a little tweak, just like that. So there you have the drive units in situ. Get me polishing cloth, just take some marks off of here. Fingerprints. The other problem with black, of course, fingerprints everywhere. Absolute nightmare to clean. But I think you get the idea. I'm now going to go and put some feet on it. Maybe I should have done that first, but for the purposes of this video, there is the drive units installed onto the baffle boards and legs. So I've cobbled up a bit of a foot. Let me swing this round. So it's standalone now. And this foot element, it's just a U, bit of U, a bit of CLS, and I've bolted it through the leg into this, I suppose you could call it a cantilever if you want. Bolted it through, and I've just given it a few degrees, or well, half a degree lean back, so that it's always erring on the side of caution. With the weight of all the drive units down here, here's its fulcrum point here, it's always leaning back. It is easy with these just to tip them forward and they would topple over because of the height of the thing, but it's no different to having something on a stand like these over there, those black things. They're on a 3-pointed leg and they're a pain in the backside, but it's just a U bracket I knocked up. I don't know whether I want to put spikes in the bottom, or I can use some of these coach bolts so that you have a circular just coming up through the middle, and I've also put a nut cert in there I can wind up and down, so I can actually adjust the height to be infinite really if you want to get into that. So I'm still waiting on crossover components, but in effect that's a quick explanation of my build up of this. Needs a bit, if it's all, actually 90% of it is made out of recycled materials. This CLS was recycled, this MDF was recycled from the guy I got it from, offcuts that he cut down for me. So it's been a cheap chassis build really. So these have come together now. They're nearly finished, apart from I'm waiting for some Velcro to arrive, the male Velcro, so I can put my foam grills in. The actual foot, if you like, or the support, what I did in the end, I've got this foot with a bit of a support that comes down here, so it's triangulated, so it's not going to fall over anywhere, and it's pretty sturdy. Actually, it's pretty sturdy. So for this DIY element, it's not pretty and it's not precise, but it'll do for me. It's not seen. I've got to do some wiring, connect up all the wiring down to there's going to be a little speaker binding post block down here, and I propose to use 3 sets of binding posts here because I want later I want to run them active, so each drive unit will have its own amplifier. The crossover comes in the next video, so a bit more information about that in the next video. I want to paint up these holes where the screws have come through, but it's a wire up job now, and complete the crossover, and then we'll have a listen. At the end of the next video, the third video and the final, there will be the schematics for all the dimensions that you need to do something like this. As I say, this is my interpretation of it. There's lots of people do other things, but it might help some to achieve it, and we'll show that in the third and final video. So keep watching. Again, thank you to all those new subscribers. Thanks for the thumbs up, thanks for the comments. I might change these silver screws out for black ones, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So for now, that's me on this second one. Keep safe, keep well. Thanks for your kind comments. Please do a thumbs up if you like, and subscribe. All the best, keep well, bye for now.